Alrighty, so it's been a pretty big week for UFC content, and I'm here to break down a couple news, a couple things I want to talk about, a couple dramas in the works, and some privileged bitches. So, let's get into the topics of discussion. We got Yair Rodriguez being a precious little princess fucking bitch. Alright, and we'll get into why, alright, doing a lot of yapping, okay, we got Umar Nurmagomedov being privileged by fucking Dana White, of course, getting in talks that he's having a title rematch with fucking Merab for doing nothing, okay, we'll get into a little bit more of that. We got Justin Gaethje, one of my favorite fighters to watch, being fucking privileged, man. What's going on? And then we have Joshua Van being fucking Chad and might be champion by the end of this year. Alright, with all those topics laid out, let's get into some of the groundwork here. So the first topic I want to talk about here is Yair Rodriguez being a precious little bitch and wanting a fucking rematch with Volkanovski. Can we just be honest? Nobody wants to see that other than Mexican fans. And listen, if you're a Mexican fan, I get why you want to watch this fight. You want to maybe see Yair Rodriguez, a wild fighter, win your belt, alright? And then hold it up for Mexico. I get why, okay? It's the same reason why I'd want Charles Jourdain up there. But he hasn't done enough, like, at all, in any sense of the word. Not even fucking close. Yair Rodriguez has done anything worthy of him getting a title shot. He got an interim belt against Josh Emmett. Where's Josh Emmett on the rankings right now? Let's just go back and see. Oh, Josh Emmett's number 10 right now. Okay. Interesting. And who did he get the interim belt shot against? Oh yeah, it was a robbery against Calvin fucking Kattar, who's basically not even ranked at this point. He's number 15, okay? And I know that was a little while ago, and you might say, oh, well, at the time, Josh Emmett was, like, number 1 contender, da-da-da-da-da, right? I get it. So who has he beat since losing his title shot? Let me just see here. Where's that bum at? What was his name? The fucking guy from Bellator, I can't even remember his name. Ah, fuck, now I really can't remember his name. Regardless, the 38-year-old, Patricio Pitbull, that's his name. I couldn't even fucking remember it. Just curious, where is he on the rankings? Patrice Pitbull. Oh, I don't see him here. Oh, yeah, because he's not fucking ranked. He was making a UFC debut at the ripe old age of 38, okay? I don't give a fuck about his record. Okay, I'm a UFC watcher. Okay, he's a bum as far as I'm concerned, okay? And he also had Yair Rodriguez in some trouble, man. You know, if you're gonna get a title shot of someone making a debut, I'd like to see a masterclass. Bare minimum, a masterclass. Dominant 3 rounds, a wicked finish, something. Yair Rodriguez looked like he was the same fighter from the Volkanovski title fight. He looked like he had his hands down, he's easy to catch, he's terrible on the ground, he almost got fucking armbarred. You know, I know he submitted, like, Josh Emmett and shit. I know he whooped Josh Emmett. Who doesn't at this point? But I don't want to see this. Like, I don't give a fuck about Yair Rodriguez getting a title fight when we clearly have number 1 contenders like Movsar Evloev. I don't even like Movsar, okay? Let me get that clear, okay? I thought Arnold Allen beat him, alright? And was robbed of a fucking TKO, okay? But he deserves the title shot after beating Aljo the way he did. That's way more dominant and way more... I get it was kind of close, but, like... That's a better win than Patrice Pitbull at 40 years old, okay? What the fuck are we doing, UFC? We're giving fucking Princess over here a title shot. And there's obviously the Diego Lopez matchup waiting for him, man. Diego Lopez has said on record, and listen, I get it, fighters yap, but he said he accepted the fight. He accused Yair of not taking the fight, which I wouldn't be fucking surprised. Because we have Yair saying, I prefer to fight him in the streets because of a fight with him in the company does nothing for me. It gives you a number 1 a contenders match, you fucking idiot. Alright? You bum. Alright? This is just like brain dead from Yair, man. I don't understand what the fuck. Like maybe CTE's already captured his brain or something, but this is one of the dumbest statements I've ever heard. Diego Lopez is coming off a not close win, but a more successful loss. Not a close loss, but a more successful loss than Yair fucking Rodriguez had. Yair got finished. Lopez didn't get finished. He knocked down Volkanovski. Yair couldn't fucking do that. Just saying, okay? And I have no doubt Diego Lopez has taken every fight he's been offered. He did say he was offered, I think, Aaron Pico or whoever the fuck they're matching up Movsar Evloev with. Yeah, he was offered that fight. He said yes to it. He was offered Yair. He said yes to it. He was also offered somebody else. Oh, Gene Silva. Bro, just like... Bro, Diego Lopez's aura is too much, man. It's too much. It's too much. His aura is insane. This guy has taken every matchup he can. Gene Silva, after Gene Silva just had his first ranked win, all right? Lopez don't give a fuck, all right? Does Gene Silva deserve that? You know, that's a question. But Lopez don't give a fuck. He's not out here saying, like, give me Yair. I want to murder Yair. That's an easy fucking free win, okay? He's taking every matchup he can. So I got a lot of respect for Diego Lopez, and Yair's just fucking yapping, saying that, well, fucking Lopez is coming off a loss. He said, you know, I don't deserve the title shot, but who's got to win? He's coming off a loss to the champion. You're coming off a win to a bum, and before that, who did you lose to? Let's just take a look. Oh, you lost to Brian Ortega in a free rematch where you were literally like a 3-1 favorite, I want to say, and Brian Ortega's ankle rolled before the fight even started, okay? I don't want to hear none of this from Yair. This guy fucking he got bitched by Brian Ortega. Who just beat Brian Ortega? Remind me who beat Brian Ortega after coming off that win to Yair? Oh yeah, Diego Lopez, you fucking idiot. Like, oh my god, bro. Yair just pisses me off. Yeah, so obviously I don't think Yair deserves a rematch. I don't think Yair should be in talks for a title shot. If they genuinely give him a title shot, it might be the most privileged shit. And I get it, there might be some people being like, well, actually, they gave O'Malley the rematch, okay? And O'Malley did nothing, alright? At least Yair is at least on a win, okay? The difference there is O'Malley had an arguably, you know, he beat Merab, okay? Where you can't say that about Yair, okay, in the first fight. And on top of that, okay, there's a lot of things around the O'Malley situation where it's like he was injured, one hip. Conveniently, he got submitted, even though he had full HP on his hips. But you know what? That's a topic for a different day. But O'Malley won versus Merab was a close fight. 3-2, best case that you could give Merab. And even then, you know, O'Malley hurt Merab in the 5th. He won the 5th very clearly. We don't see a lot of people do that to Merab. There's a lot of, like, reasons why O'Malley got the instant title rematch. And on top of that, people forget, man, O'Malley was a defending fucking champion, okay? Yair had an interim belt. Not the same, okay? I've seen a lot of cope. That's why I'm trying to get it out there. Bullshit. I don't think Yair deserves this fucking title shot. They're probably going to give it to him, and I'm going to be fucking pissed. It is literally one of the most privileged title shots we have ever seen, you know? Arguably even more privileged than Adesanya getting a title shot against DDP after coming off a loss. Alright? That's arguably more... maybe not. Maybe not. Israel Adesanya getting that title shot against DDP was very, very privileged. But Yair Rodriguez is definitely up there. Moving on! Another privileged princess bitch who got bitched by Merab Dvalishvili, okay? Or I should say got bitched by a champion. Umar is in the talks for getting a title rematch, okay? And I know, a little bit of clarification, Dana just said it's basically interesting. He didn't say it's, like, for sure happening. They've got to be doing Corey. I swear to God, if they give Umar an instant title rematch where he had done nothing, okay? Let's say we have Corey versus Merab next month or some shit, okay? To save a fucking UFC card. Let's say, like, Max Holloway pulls out or Dustin pulls out or some shit and they need to save 318, I think it is. If that happens, okay, and we see Umar versus Merab in October, all right, what the fuck are we doing as the UFC? Remind me, how many ranked wins does Umar have? Anyone know? Oh, I know. He's got fucking 1 against Corey Sandhagen. And I get it, he dominated Corey Sandhagen, even though all 5 rounds were very close and competitive. But he got bitched by Merab. He literally got fucking dismantled, okay? And for people being like, you're saying O'Malley had a 1 hip in that first Merab fight. Well, you know, Umar had a broken hand. Who the fuck broke his hand in round 1? Alright, he didn't have a broken hand going into the fight. He had a broken hand in that fight because he broke his hand off Merab's fucking skull, okay? Or checking a kick, either or. Regardless, everyone agrees Umar does not deserve this title shot again. It shouldn't even be in talks. Umar should have to get at least bare minimum 3 wins, in my opinion, to even compete for the title. And to be honest, they could be shitty ranked wins. We could see Figueiredo there, we could see Rob Font there, and we could see some other prospect coming off a win, I guess, like a Mario Bautista, you know? Like, if Umar beat those names and he gets a title shot again, if he beats those 3, sure, maybe that's a little bit more valid. That's something we'll talk about down the road. He doesn't earn it based off 1 ranked win, losing to the champion, and now he just gets infinite title rematches because he's a Nurmagomedov. Like, what the fuck are we doing, man? Like, UFC, clean it up, brother. Jesus Christ. Anyways, that's kind of what I want to talk about there. Moving on. This one's sad, man. Okay, and this is, you know, Arman Sarukian. This is thanks to Dovey here. He posts a lot of UFC stuff, so shout out to Dovey. This is where I got this post from, at least. Yeah, I am kind of jaw-dropped Justin Gaethje's being this much of a bitch. Ali Abdulaziz, which is the manager of Justin Gaethje as far as all of his matchmaking, is the one who gave him the Max Holloway fight, and Max Holloway slept him, just saying. Ruined his chances of getting a title shot because of that fight. Justin Gaethje could retire from MMA if he does not get the next shot at the lightweight belt. Justin said, if I'm not going to fight for the title, I'm going to hang up my gloves. I love the UFC, but I feel the UFC has to love me back. Justin Gaethje, you've been privileged your entire UFC career. You've only had top-ranking matchups. You haven't fought an unranked opponent. And arguably, you're on a 1-fight win streak, okay, against a rematch where you were the favorite in, which was a short-notice opponent who had you in a lot of problems in round 1, okay? And that was a 29-28. You could have, you know, I'm just saying, all right? No. That one was definitely clear Gaethje. That was way more clear of a Gaethje than the first fight. However, it was a short-notice fight. Fiziev was coming off a meniscus tear. His knee blew out his last fight. It was just short-notice fight. And Fiziev had that much success in round 1? Get the fuck out of here, Justin Gaethje. You need to have another fight, okay? You very rarely fight these young up-and-comers. I get it, he fought Fiziev before. But we need to see the Paddy Pimblett fight. We need to see the Arman Sarukian fight. We need a #1 contenders bout. You can't, like, UFC's, especially for lightweight, we need to have higher standards for these title shots. You can't keep on giving the Justins, the Dustins, the Oliveira's title shots off 1-fight win streaks. Otherwise, they're just gonna, oh wow, I wonder why the lightweight belt's shifting so much amongst all these fucking killers. It's because they're getting title shots off 1-fight win streaks, okay? We should have bare minimum have a rule of 2 to 3 fight win streaks, okay, to get a title shot, especially for vets. You know, no offense to the vets. I love the vets, alright? But you don't see fucking Max Holloway getting the quadrilogy because he beat Arnold Allen, Korean Zombie, and fucking, he beat somebody else, didn't he? Oh, Justin Gaethje at lightweight, you know? You don't see Max Holloway getting the quadrilogy because of that, alright? Fuck off. Go earn your title shot, you know? And if this is true and Justin Gaethje will retire his fucking gloves because he's not getting an instant title shot off of winning a rematch after getting slept the year before. I'm sorry, brother. I love watching your fights. They call him highlight for a reason, your favorite fighter's favorite fighter. But I don't want to fucking see him if he's just going to be like this, alright? Because he gets dominated. Let's just be honest. He gets slept by Ilya in fucking 3 rounds. Max, okay? Like, let's just be real here, okay? And the only reason why I'm saying he gets slept is because of what we've seen. His last 2 fights, he got slept and slumped out cold in one of them. And then the other fight, also had his nose broken. And then the other fight, he was almost losing. He almost lost that fight, a 29-28 with a rematch that he's already beat the guy with. Like, oh, man, come on, bruh. You know, this would be different if he's coming off a win against Poirier with that Salt Lake City head kick. That was a sick performance. Was losing that fight until he got the finish, but he showcased he can be dangerous. He can be wild. We didn't see that in his last couple fights. I'm sorry, in his last 2 fights, I should say. Like, it's just, we've seen nothing from Justin Gaethje to show that he can beat Oliveira, to show that he could beat Ilia Topuria, whoever wins that fight, okay? There's nothing there for Justin Gaethje, man. Other than, oh, he's a lightweight, Ilia got dropped at lightweight. Oh, I can't wait to see Justin Gaethje throw a head kick. Even though this is his first time ever throwing a fucking head kick. You know, Salt Lake City, just saying, right? But it's just like, I don't want to see this fight if it's just going to be Justin Gaethje getting fed to the wolves again. You know, you have to look like you're something. You know, Dustin Poirier getting a title shot after beating Benoit Saint Denis. He was an underdog in that fight, okay? A lot of people were talking about, well, Dustin Poirier's done. This is where he hangs up the gloves. Goes out there, whoops Benoit Saint Denis. I know he was kind of like losing until he whooped him, but he showcased he was threatening the guillotine. He showcased his hands are still there, and he smoked a young contender in a fresh matchup. Gets a title shot because of short notice circumstances. That's deserved. That is way more deserved than Justin Gaethje beating a rematched opponent in the same 29-28 way. And still having not really a lot of success other than like dumb things where it's like, oh, he threw the same hook, dirty boxing for the 5th time. Oh, it dropped Fiziev, you know? I got a lot of respect for Fiziev, but he got caught doing the same shit, you know? It's just, it's dumb. I think it's dumb. I think we need to set rules. And there needs to be more standards for these title shots, man. All these guys are getting fucking title shots for doing nothing. Literally nothing. 1 fight win streaks. No fight win streak. 1 fight win streak. Like, come on, man. It's insane. Moving on. Something that'll brighten our days. We got Joshua Van being our little nugget man. Some say the young Peter Yan. Okay. Some say the nugget man. Some say our little Filipino man. Okay. Takes on Brandon Royval. Steps up short notice for UFC 317. This is happening this month, within 2 weeks as of recording of this video. Exciting matchup. Chad Joshua Van, especially after finishing Bruno Silva. What I will say, I love the Nugget man. I love Joshua Van. I've picked like every Joshua Van fight right. I don't think his style weakness is necessarily a Brandon Royval. But early thoughts, I'm going with Brandon Royval. Listen, I love Joshua Van. He's 23, which is insane to say, and he's getting a #1 contenders fight, arguably against Brandon Royval. Sick-ass performance, and as much as it would be sick for him to beat Brandon Royval, become 24 years old, and a champion by the end of this year, or, you know, near the beginning of next year, you know, beating Pantoja, because Pantoja's chin is probably run through the mud at that point, fighting Kai Kara France. You know, Kai Kara France loses. We get Joshua Van versus Pantoja afterwards type shit. But Brandon Royval is fucking good, and that's the problem. I do think Joshua Van's going to end up being like a Song Yadong because of stuff like this, where he's just getting high-level matchups. And I know it's flyweight, but high-level matchups too soon. Brandon Royval, his weakness is when you're really good on the ground. And when I say good on the ground, I mean dangerous on the ground. You know, Tatsuro Taira, he's dominant on the ground and getting to the back. He's not dangerous on the ground. You know, I get it, he's got submissions and shit, but they're not against, like, decent level comp. Alright? But Brandon Royval, you have to have danger on the ground. You know, Pantoja has that danger on the ground. Brandon Royval's got the best scrambles, I think, in the UFC, up there with Corey Sandhagen, and there was somebody else who recently had a performance that was really sick, as far as, like, the scrambling ability, but Brandon Royval's scramble ability is crazy. Joshua Van, I don't think is getting Brandon Royval down, or at least holding him down. This is going to be a boxing match. As much as Joshua Van's pace is sick, Royval is going to be the one on the front foot. Van's going to be the one on the back foot. Van does well on the back foot. He doesn't do shit on the back foot. But Royval is going to be pushing the pace here. Royval's numbers are insane. His comp level is insane. This, in my opinion, is going to look a lot like Brandon Royval versus Brandon Moreno 3 or whatever the recent one was, however many times they've fought. I think it's going to look a lot like that, where it's like Van is doing well, he's having moments of success, but he's just not doing enough, you know? Like, he's not finishing Brandon Royval. Royval's got a great chin. It's a rough one. This is like the one in the top level that I was worried for Van. I was literally thinking, like, man, Brandon Royval, I think that's the only guy to stop Van up until the belt, you know, until Van gets a title shot. Like, Joshua Van probably does beat Kai Kara-France. Joshua Van probably does beat Brandon Moreno, Amir Albazi, Steve Urseg, you know? Like, those are the matchups I would have wanted to see Van fight for, you know? Manel Cap. That's another interesting one. But Joshua Van's probably going to get fucking bank for taking this fight. He should. Hey, $250,000, $500,000. Up there, alright? That's what the UFC should be paying this young buck. But Joshua Van, I do think he gets fraud checked. However, Brandon Royval, guys, Brandon Royval, he does have this brain bleed. He had that weird loss to Brandon Moreno a couple years back where he's fucking, he's freaking out about his armbar. If you haven't seen that fight, that was a really weird stoppage, but, maybe that happens, okay? Yeah, Joshua Van, he's just next level, but yeah, it's kind of sad. Fuck, man, why did Joshua Van have to take Brandon Royval? Out of the two Brandons, he coin flipped the wrong one, Fuck. But yeah, gonna be a sick fight though, so I'm excited. But yeah, that's pretty much all I wanted to discuss. I wanted to get a few topics out there. I wanted to discuss a few news things, a little bit of drama, a little bit of privileged title shots. But overall, happy with the UFC. UFC's cooking, all right? So yeah, I want to thank you for watching, making it all the way to the end of this video, and as always, I hope you have a good day.